Guess what? We're live.
Hey, it's Jess the Ska Kid. We're at Palace Day Scheelerino. It's a special Tuesday night edition because all the way on tour, we're show number 60 of the 100 Days tour, is Houston and the Dirty Rats from New Jersey. Hi, guys. Welcome.
Yeah. How's it going?
Hi.
Hello. So let's start with this. I view it as something like crazy. You're doing 100 shows in 100 days.
You'd be right to say it's crazy.
It is crazy. What made you come up with this idea? I love it, by the way. Like, it's a great
This guy.
marketing.
This guy
thing.
right here.
He was drunk as shit. And he's like, hey, let's do another tour. Let's do 100 shows in 100 days. And then Houston's like, yeah, let's actually do it.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even know it was happening until much later. And he's like, yeah, we're going to do 100 shows in 100 days. And I said, I'll believe it when I see it. And well, shit, we're at day 60. And,
It's happening.
it's happened.
None of you are dead yet.
No, it's true. Honestly, it's like, it was a little rough at first because, we definitely should have had an intense gym routine before we started this. I think we should have been every morning going to the gym, and then it would have been a lot easier. But the first few weeks were a little rough, and then we pretty much just have been going ham at this. And when we have we've only had 2 days off because we did a lot of matinees in the beginning of the tour, and when we had the off days, we're almost like, what do we do? We're so used to just playing every day, you know. We had a show every day while we were home previously this for Easter. We had 3 shows in a row, but they were all local to where we're based out of, and it was even weird. We were like, we're home, but at least we have shows. He's like, what would we be doing?
Sleeping.
Yeah, I guess
Sleeping.
sleeping.
Our days off weren't real days off. Actually, I think we've only had 2 or 3 so far, and we spent those driving.
Driving
and
or
sleeping. That's all it
finding
was.
more shows.
We had a 12-hour drive that we split between the night we left and then our off day and then the next morning. And yeah, it was just driving and sleeping. That's all we do.
Don't choke on the water.
Yeah, man. Be careful, man. Water's
We've
dangerous.
lost no one on this show yet. You're not going to be the first. So let's back up a second and
Yeah,
do
sure.
introductions. Who are you? So your name and what it is you do in said band.
I'm Houston, and I make sounds with my voice and a guitar.
I'm Will. I'm the drummer.
I'm Gerard, and I play bass and sing backup vocals.
In my mind, you're Gerard Deschamps.
You're the second person this tour who said that.
Yeah.
Last
He's a
night.
beret at all times.
Yeah. City of Lost Children. Hellboy. No one. Les Mis. He did Les Mis. Anyway.
He did.
He did. I mean, that's yay. Literature. Anyways, where did your tour start? Because we're day 60. And take us just through a little run through of where you've been and what's coming up. Because it sounds
There's a lot.
crazy.
This here land.
You're just doing crazy eights. You're coming back and going up north in a month from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started in our hometown and then made our way down the coast of Florida and then cut across the southern part of the U.S. and then made our way to Texas and then California and then looped back through the center?
South,
Yeah, south
west,
center of America.
Yeah.
We did a lot, like going down the whole coast. Like you
We
said,
made a
in
pumpkin
Florida.
smile.
It just
We-
looks
Aw.
like this.
It's like,
We kind of it's we tried to do everything pretty much south of Kansas because we were trying to avoid anything.
He's
any
smiling.
snow.
Right.
Like you said, that it snowed
Last week.
last week.
The 13th,
So we're-
it was a blizzard.
We've been trying to avoid snow, so staying south of Kansas, pretty much like we didn't go any farther north than Oklahoma.
There was
We
snow
did
at
not-
the Grand Canyon though.
There was snow at the Grand Canyon,
Which is
very
weird.
little. But
They didn't believe me. They're like, it's just salt. I'm like, no, I know what snow is. We're from the Northeast. We know what snow is.
But it just didn't make sense because
You
we were
guys
in
are from
Arizona
Wisconsin. You know
in
what
the
snow
It
desert.
still snows in the desert and in
It's just
Arizona. They got
weird.
mountains, man.
True.
California
Remember when,
snows too.
Houston, remember when we went to Northern California and cut across to a thing? It just started flurrying. Oh, it was just green grass and then flurries. And I'm like,
the one thing I have not witnessed yet is in Salt Lake City, Utah. Supposedly, it looks like it's snowing, but it's just salt flakes.
Oh.
people talk about
We
that.
saw it snow.
We saw it snow in Utah, but we have not seen the salt flakes.
Are you sure the snow wasn't so?
Oh no,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
it was
we-
snow.
it
We
was
got
snow.
snowed in. That was rough.
Oh, it was real. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
On this tour, like
That
This
was,
was this was last year. On this tour, the only wild things were like there was like a venue got flooded out like the day before we played, which
Ooh.
we just missed, fortunately. But then
And it was the second floor too, because it was just the rain was leaking through the roof.
yeah.
So the second floor got flooded.
And we played they still had us
We-
play because they didn't want us to lose a show of our 100 shows. But like we played to this like damp room, and that was kind of interesting. And we haven't really had too many disasters
Not
on
yet.
this tour. Knock on wood.
So, who's been responsible for setting up this tour, and how easy has it been, or has this been quite a challenge?
I handle most of the booking and management.
I just show up, so.
Yeah. I pretty
I
much,
talk to people.
I guess I'm the spearhead, and I kind of like get everything to happen. And pretty much like this, my brother Will, he was just like, let's do 100 shows in 100 days, because we had heard about this band from Florida called Guilt. And they had done 90 shows in like a summer, like 3 months on the road, and I was just like, 90? What if we did 100? And he was like, yeah, 100 shows, you know? So then I was like, we have to do this, and we've been touring for like almost 3 years, and we did like 10 months in roughly 2 years. Mostly last year, we did 7 months on the road last year, so I've gathered a lot of like
Wow.
first-hand,
We don't stop.
like kind of like, I guess it would be like organic research. I'm trying to think, was it like fleet knowledge? I don't know. I can't think of the term. But anyhow, so like I was out in the field and I could talk to people, find out where to play. We've made a lot of connections with some really hardworking touring bands, like a band called Some Kind of Nightmare.
I knew you were gonna say that.
They're like one of the hardest working touring
Love
bands
those guys.
in the country, and just they're good friends of mine. And anytime I get stuck, I touch base with them. And it hasn't been super easy booking a tour, but I mean, I kept telling people, because we've only been touring for a little, like almost 3 years, it was kind of like I felt like I dropped out of college to take this band serious. So I feel like this is almost like a final exam in some ways, like taking all the knowledge that I've gained through doing this. And
So then your thesis would be?
my thesis, it would be like, is 100 shows in 100 days possible? You know, I would say.
And so far, I mean, you're more than halfway through,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
it's been pretty possible. I'm just working on stuff like it's been challenging in parts of the Northwest, like Montana and stuff, but it should all come together. It's anytime I've been stuck, I had like anything in life isn't always as you think it's gonna be, because I was 3 weeks into the March run of this 100 shows, and I found out that 8 shows in April fell through, and I was able to fill them all.
that's awesome.
But that's one of the reasons we're here, and we're talking to you, you know, so we get
Thank
to,
God.
was able to
Thank
fill one
God.
of the 8 shows. You know?
Good.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you
Yes,
so much,
thanks
Jess.
for
You
coming,
made it
because
possible.
you guys had popped up, and I was like, oh, they're really cool. And then, we started sharing your
Hey, you hear
100
that,
shows
guys?
thing.
We're cool.
You're cool!
We're cool, man. We made it, guys.
And I was like, well, you had messaged me, we're playing in this thing. And I was like, they better contact me soon. Because we're booked. Like, pretty solidly. And I hate when someone messages me now and I'm like, thanks for reaching out, but sorry, better luck next time. I feel like a horrible employer. How does this work, though, with life? You guys have taken on quite an endeavor to try to do 100 shows in 100 days. And where does this fit in as far as like a personal life? Like when you return back to New Jersey, do you have jobs and families and things? Or are you all like, fuck it, burn it down, we'll live in the van, we'll just tour forever?
If he could have it that way, he would.
Yeah.
If I could live off of it, I would. I mean, I don't know. I have a factory job back home, and I'm lucky enough that the people like me there. I guess I'm a hard worker or something.
Something like
And
that.
they just let me take the time off to like come out and do this, and then they'll let me have my job back. It's like a leave of absence kind of thing.
That's cool.
So I just save up as much as I can
You're
before we go out.
fortunate.
Yeah,
I
I
worked
really
at
lucked out with that.
I worked at a kitchen at a deli at a local supermarket, and they would let me do that. And I don't think I'm going back this time for reasons, but just now I'm going to be searching for a job and definitely taking the band a lot more serious than I did, but I've got tons of friends at home who are always clamoring to see us, see me, see him, everybody asks, when are you coming home? When are you coming home? We gotta hang out when you come home.
We ain't coming home.
We're really not coming home, though.
Not really.
We've got another 3 tours lining up after this.
Yeah, plan on.
We do not stop. We are just constantly on the road.
What's the goal then?
To get signed to Fat Records.
Yeah, I would say that's the biggest
that's
goal.
like
One
the
of them.
dream.
Yeah, the dream.
Like, realistically, the goal is just to be able to live off what we're doing.
Exactly.
I'd love to never have to never have to slice another piece of meat, never have to slice another cheese. Be like, oh, is this thickness okay for you? Hanging in front of their face like they're freaking dogs. Like, give me a break.
I think.
I love that. Like dog. Is this fucking piece thick enough? No, it's too thick. And if you could just lower the blade,
Yeah,
that'd
just
be great.
Let me layer that out for you sheet by sheet. Thanks.
I would say that when you're asking, when we get off tour, how does everything work? A big thing from all the books I've read on, because pretty much, like I said, I dropped out of college to make this my college degree. And kind of take this 100%, just like I was studying accounting and finance and marketing, and I wanted to have the same approach with independent touring. And a lot of people say is you can never be the band is a part of my life and I have my life. If you really want to be a full-time touring musician, the band is a big part of your life and you build your life around it. It's not just you play every Saturday or one Saturday a month with your band playing covers. It's you're going to cut out a large portion of your year to just being on the road, and even if it's only 3 weeks at a time and then maybe 2 weeks home or 3 weeks home, 6 months, 7 months out of the year, you're just out.
So before this lofty endeavor that you undertook, how long have you been a band, and did you just dive right into, fuck it, we're doing month by month? Or was it you did weekends out, the weekend warrior thing we hear about, and then go home and then go, oh, we can build off of this? Or how did this come to be? I ask a lot of questions at one time, so if I need
that's
to
fine,
go
yeah.
back.
I mean, this September will be our 6th year as a band together.
Wow.
And it kind of started out as, I was taking guitar in rock and roll classes in high school because that was an elective. So, and I wanted to get better at playing guitar because there's only so much they could teach you there. And it's not like it's one-on-one time. They're teaching a class at 20, so if you're falling behind, you're pretty much fucked. And, so I asked him to teach me how to play guitar, and I went over his house, and he was teaching me how to play bass, and I hated it. And he had a drum kit. Fucking hated bass. But he had a drum kit, so I jumped on that, and I picked it up a lot faster and it was more fun, too. And I've wanted to play drums since I was 8 or 9.
We were just there. We were just always just hanging out.
And I don't know, I had the coordination to do it, but I didn't know what beats to play. And he knew the beats, but didn't know the coordination. So it was he just told me what sounds to make, and then I just did it. Yeah. So that's
I think it was really funny. I don't know if this is true, but one of my friends in high school was this helped me teach my will to play drums, because my good friend in high school was a drummer, and he would always joke because he was Polish, and I'm not sure if this is true, so I'm sorry world if this isn't, but I think he said that dupa is ass in Polish, I guess, and he would just say that to break down drums, you would just say ass. You would be like dupa, 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 so ass, 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 ass. So I don't know if that's true, but that's how I broke it down to Will. I was just dupa, dupa, dupa.
That works.
Kick and snap.
Is this the band that has always been? Have you had
roughly?
Why? Wow, that was a hard. Hey, Dave Pardue, calm down over there.
Roughly, it kind of in 2013 I graduated high school, and I
I'm
was-
sorry.
Does that make
I
you
was-
feel old?
Yeah.
I was 19. I turned like the summer after high school. I was 19. I started college, and pretty much like he was just hanging out with me a lot, and because like I had like 3-4 days off a week, I was going to community college, and he was just like you said, he had taken these guitar classes, and I had never been able to really have a working band in high school. And I think a big part of that was because a lot of times you'll try to find the best musicians or people, and sometimes it comes with egos or clash of creative things. Yeah. Clash with like creative differences, and I always just wanted a band that would just tour. Like I just wanted to be on the road and travel and play music, and I feel like we couldn't get past like, so are these lyrics okay? No. I'm just like, can we just play shows, you know? And then he didn't care. He was just like, let's just play music. And then we did a lot of blues covers and AC/DC and stuff for a while. And
10 bass players later.
And 10 bass players later. Because it was just like, we tried different guys from my college, some high school friends. And then he lived like 2 houses down.
He's the only one who would show up.
He'd
every
always
day.
show up.
On time
He would
or
just-
early.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I remember like
Punctuality is a very important thing.
Putting the punk back in punctual.
That's a thing. So then, did you just like burn through people through auditions, and then he was just like,
It was
hey,
just-
hey guys, I'm
No.
here.
It was just kind of...
It was just jamming at
You know what
first.
it-
We
yeah.
just wanted to see if we could get people to show up. And
Nobody would show up.
they'd show up late or not at all. And when they showed up late, it was like it's past like curfew or like
Yeah, it's
past
past-
10
it's like
o'clock.
10
We can't
o'clock,
fucking
yeah.
play anymore. Like, thanks. Let's go to Taco Bell now, I guess. Like,
I literally remember the first time that Houston called me, like, ever. I was in the middle of dinner, and he's like, hey, I know we haven't, like, talked a whole lot, but you want to, like, jam or something? And my mouth is literally stuffed with fucking
I was
mashed
gonna
potatoes,
say,
and I'm like, yeah, I'll be there in a second.
I was gonna say, I
All
remember
chewing.
that phone call because it sounded like, yeah, you had
Sounded
a
like he was
mouthful of
choking.
mashed potatoes.
Mom,
or
can I go out and play punk rock music? Sure, honey.
Sure,
please,
just be
Mom.
home by 10.
Isn't that a Danzig song?
Gonna go out and play tonight.
Right. So why this form of music?
I think that's my fault. I would say, yeah, that's 100% my fault.
Why?
Because I remember when I was in middle school, I went through that phase where like I thought that the Beatles were amazing because like my parents listened to the Beatles and
Beatles are still pretty chill.
I'm no offense to Beatles, that's how you write a decent song. They gave the blueprint for all contemporary songwriting.
They also gave all the rights away.
Like yeah, I love the Beatles. But anyhow,
I don't know.
I was
Don't
just
give your
like
rights away.
I went through that phase where it was just the Beatles and Buddy Holly and Chuck Berry and listening to all these rock and roll things, and then eventually like I had bought Guitar Hero and there was a character called Johnny Napalm, and Johnny Napalm was a punk rocker. So then that brings up the conversation. Dad, what's a punk rocker? Because my mom's like, I don't know, ask your father. It was something that happened in the late 70s. And then my dad's like, all right, there was a band called the Ramones and the Sex Pistols, and YouTube had been around for like a few years at that point. It started in like 2005, and this is like 2007. I was 7th grade. And I was like, okay, so Dad, there's a band called the Ramones and Sex Pistols. So then I look up the Sex Pistols because I'm doing a project. This is really funny. I'm doing a history project where I need to do, what's that thing? It's like a pyramid, and it's like it's like the British caste system. It's like the feudal system. What's it? I can't think of it. Okay, anyway, it's a pyramid, and you have like the kings at the top, and then like the lords, and then the peasants.
Oh yeah, the serfs and all that shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
the caste
like,
system.
so
A hierarchy.
I had to do one of those, and we could do it on anything. So it being in like a high school, it's like or middle school at that point, everybody was like, oh, so like the Giants and then the Yankees or whatever, or that. So like it was all like football references and the East Coast, all
Just
like
voice
East Coast.
stuff.
Like anyhow, I chose to do British musicians, and I did like the Beatles as the kings, and then like the Stones as the lords, and then I did the Sex Pistols as the peasants. And but just knowing from like my dad that like they were this punk rock band or whatever, and I thought punk rockers would be the peasants, which kind of makes a lot of sense.
I mean, as we
yeah,
traveled.
as
we
we
could
traveled.
be kings.
So anyhow,
We're kings to our own.
YouTube was a new thing, and like I think I didn't have a computer at my house, so that's what. Because I was trying to remember like where did I see this? So I was in like the school library, and I looked up "God Save the." I just was typed in YouTube, the Sex Pistols, and then this "God Save the Queen" studio footage comes on, and it changed my life. I watched it, and just like everything about it I was just like, this is everything from you. Yeah, no future. This is like everything was written in stone from that point on. I was like, I need to do this. And then after the Sex Pistols, I discovered Sum 41, and then found out Sum 41 was a NoFX cover band. Discovered NoFX, and then from then on, I discovered my favorite band. Like literally, I was a diehard Sum 41 fan, but when I found out that they were a NoFX cover band when they started, I was just like, who's NoFX? And then just that was NoFX, Fat Records, No Use for a Name, Lagwagon, Good Riddance. You know, just open the whole can of worms. Teenage Bottle Rocket released They Came from the Shadows when I was a freshman in high school, and it's like I just they're so good. I got sucked in that whole like Fat Records punk rock sound, and I was just like, I want a band that sounds like this, and could never do it. And then we had to start from the bottom. You know, like we were playing blues covers, like yeah, from the peasants up.
We're going up below the peasants. We're the dirt under the peasants.
But we had to start from doing like blues covers to like finally to the point where like now we can do like the almost Fat Records type stuff, which like we really want to take some time off next year, and we're gonna really work on having that kind of like skate punky, like early Epitaph, like Fat Records sound.
What are your influences?
So, I was raised on a lot of British rock. So The Who was a staple in my house. The Who and the Beatles were very big. And then, seriously, Guitar Hero did a great thing for our society. It really did.
Yeah.
It was the first time I ever heard Ozzy. I heard Mr. Crowley, and that's when I really started getting into heavier stuff. And it was when I heard his voice, and heard Randy Rhoads, I was like, Dad, I want a guitar. And he's like, okay, so what? So I saved all my money up and bought a guitar. Dealt with a lot of guitar players, and I think you all know how guitar players can be. And I said, fuck this, I'm playing bass. And played bass. So influences, I would say, would be like, The Who, Black Sabbath, a little bit of Rush.
The Misfits.
Definitely love the Misfits, love Rancid, love Dead Kennedys. Dead Kennedys was the second punk show I ever saw.
Motorhead too, right?
I do like Motorhead a lot. Strong bass players. Bass players is...
I think that
so I was trying to think of some of the songs that you wrote and like what they sounded like. There was that one song that you did that sounded a lot like
Motorhead.
It was very Motorhead-esque.
It's funny when he's like my second punk show, and I'm like, yeah, this is all my fault. I'm like, yeah, I took him to
It
the
is.
first punk
He
show.
took me to see
I
Teenage
took him to
Bottle
the
Rocket.
second punk show, the third one.
And then after that, it was just like, oh shit, this is great.
Because I don't think you knew anything outside of like stadium rock either, really, right? Because
I mean,
like you were going to those big shows with your dad.
So I had an idea who the Ramones were. I had an idea who the Sex Pistols were. And then when I found out who the Dead Kennedys were, that's when life really changed. Everything started getting real different, and I fell in love with punk rock. I mean, I still love all of the influences. I still listen to that when I want to blot out their talking. I just pop it on and listen to...
He listens to a lot of Rush. When he gets sick of Teenage Bottle Rocket, he listens to a lot
I'll put on Rush, I'll put on The Who. Basically, just listening to everything. Everything that's not like punk rock sometimes. Sometimes it gets a little repetitive.
I listen to the same.
They listen to the same freaking album on repeat.
Yeah, he can only listen to like an album a few times, but
no.
Him and I, like, we can listen to, like, we've listened to, like, multiple Teenage Bottle Rocket records,
I've listened to Roll the Bones, like, maybe 30, 40 times in my car, but, like, when I hear the same songs for miles, and miles, and for 6 freaking hours, it's the same thing. He ruined Dookie for me.
I was gonna say, like, well, that's
He ruined Dookie for me.
We've listened to
Well,
Dookie.
you all ruined Dookie for us tonight.
Yeah.
So.
It's true. No, you're right.
We listened to Dookie though probably like 5,000 times.
Yeah.
And that's not an exaggeration.
That's not an exaggeration. Like we probably listened to
No,
Dookie
I'm
like
sick
over
of
5,000
These people are
times.
driving me nuts.
Like,
We've had the same Teenage Bottle Rocket album in for the past like 4 or 5 days, and I listened to it for the 5-hour drive yesterday.
So
It's
what
like
is
5
your
hours
influence
straight.
then, Will?
I'd probably say Green Day. I've been listening to Green Day since like 4th grade. And then I discovered Blink-182 and My Chemical Romance
oh, I love
like
that
my
song.
freshman year of high school,
Yeah,
maybe
freshman.
8th grade.
Yeah.
But
It's when you dyed your hair black.
yeah,
That was a bad look on you, bud.
fucking the scene kid shit. It was
Yeah, you even. I
Wait a
think you even did
second.
eyeliner.
You gotta do this?
Yeah.
It's not a phase, Mom.
You don't understand.
You don't even understand.
So here's a good question, because now I think East Coast, yes, I think punk rock, but I also think ska. You guys know what ska
I
is,
love
yes?
ska.
I don't like
Great.
ska.
Are you
You
guys
think
from...
East Coast, really?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
because in the
Street
80s,
light.
now I'm going to date myself. In the 80s, when, or late 70s if you'd like, Bucket from the Toasters really was influential in
He's from the
bringing...
East Coast.
Yes, he's from New York.
Yeah,
The
dude.
Toasters are fucking
I
from
always
New
see
York.
Yeah.
the Toasters are always playing.
You're gonna
like,
leave
Iowa
knowing more
and
than you
stuff.
came with? No,
I didn't know they were from New York though.
Yes.
I've never heard
Okay.
of them.
Yes, they are from New York, and they are really influential in bringing third wave ska to the U.S. because there was two-tone in the
the UK.
60s and 70s in the UK, which also then was a spin-off and why the Sex Pistols became what
Yeah.
they did. But then in the late 70s, early 80s, it hit the East Coast here, and you had bands like the Skoidats and the Toasters
I love the
and the
Toasters.
Pie Tasters, and that became what third wave ska was. It
Okay.
wasn't until the 90s
We're
when
real
California
big
picked up
fish.
ska.
That's what it might.
And the Mighty Mighty Boss
Yes,
Tones.
but they're Boston.
They are Boston.
Boston's
And you
And
listen
then-
to their
yeah.
early stuff, ska core, the Double and More. That's a fucking heavy album because they were ska core. They listened to a lot of like Bad Brains and hardcore and Black Flag and tied in ska with that.
That's great. Though.
Right. So the more you know.
No, that's really crazy.
But-
I thought it was West Coast more. It's the sunshine, you know.
Right.
The sunshine. Like, see, you're like you have less than Jake. They're from Florida. Sunshine. Scott comes from like sunshine.
Ska does come from sunshine because it started in the 50s in Jamaica. If we want to go there.
Yeah, we're really getting back.
That's real
The Rude
sunshine.
Boys.
So like when we've had a few bands on who are like, who's from New Jersey? You guys, but Joker's Republic is another one, or Backyard Superheroes. You know who those guys
I've heard
are?
of the Backyard Superheroes. I
Yeah.
think I've seen them a few times. I honestly don't know if
I
know
haven't
names.
seen them,
Oh
but
yeah,
I'm
I've seen them
aware.
like a few times. I'm not a huge fan, but I mean I have seen them a few times.
Wow.
I saw them open for Catch 22, and I've seen them open for Less Than Jake a few times in Jersey.
Do you guys go out to shows often in your area?
Yes.
I go out a lot.
He goes
I go
out
a lot. That's
more
how
than
I
both
book,
of
I
us.
book the shows a lot through. If I see a band, if there's a band from Iowa playing New Jersey, I'm gonna be like, all right. Especially if they're a punk band, I'm there.
If
Or,
I'm not
like,
working,
Seattle
I'll go
or-
see a show.
I
You're
just-
not working now.
That's true.
Is
He'll
he
go
either
see his
practicing
favorite
or
bands.
like he's either
Yeah.
practicing or working when he's home.
Yeah,
We
I
got our
just-
friends, Jukebox Romantics.
Yeah, I
He'll
only
drop
go-
everything
If
to
it's
see a
like
show.
if it's a band that I've like hung out with and I'm like best friends with, then I'll go like out of my way to see them. But for the most part, like I haven't been playing drums that long, so like I'm just trying to get as like good as possible in a short amount of time. So I just work like 8 to 12 hours a day, and then I go home and practice for like 4 or 5 hours.
Wow. Yeah, the
And then-
person we had on last Thursday said that he tries to do 4 to 6 hours of practice a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Every day. That's nuts.
No, it's true. Actually, though, I remember when I was like younger. I think he did the same, like 7 hours a day. When
Yeah.
you're like 12,
You don't
13, like 14.
Yeah,
Never
I
stop.
wish I would have started back then.
So how long have you been playing bass then?
I first found a love of bass when I was in grade school. And
sixth grade, right?
it was in
Yeah.
6th grade when I first picked up the first time I ever picked up a bass.
We went to the same elementary.
Yeah, we're all
We're
from
all
the
from the
same,
same
yeah.
school. We're all from the same area.
Him and I were in the same classes too.
But
so that's
then-
how I
They're
knew.
in the same grade.
I was like, oh, it's just 4 strings, and then I continued with guitar. Excuse me. Freshman year comes like 8th grade freshman year, I get my first bass, and after
Did you
that,
get it from Pete?
no, I got it from Dave Phillips.
Oh, okay. So I know you had that. There's this.
That was my
okay.
second bass.
I just gotta say, because there's a guy that lives at the end of the block. that's
Here's to
like-
Pete down the. Here's
like-
to Pete down the street.
He's like a collector. Let's just say to be nice. He's a collector of items,
Crazy.
and he's Pete from down
He's
the
got a
street.
sitar for me at home now.
Dude.
I'm excited to play that.
It's just funny though because he's Pete from down the street.
Yeah, all right.
He gave me my second bass guitar, and it was a BC Rich Warlock.
Wow.
The body was from 03 and the neck was from 88.
Was that the emo looking one? That
Yeah, it had like
fucking
that
red
like
paint on
triangle
it?
head
Oh,
thing.
Yeah, dude, that thing was great. That thing
It
sounded
did look pretty
nasty. It
hardcore.
was awesome. And then I ripped all the frets off my P bass. Because I had no idea how to play bass like well. So I ripped them all off. It's like, I'll join jazz band. Maybe they'll let me learn how to play. And that they didn't like what I had to do. But then I said, fuck you, and I just kept playing. And I just got faster and faster and learned more. Like, the best way to teach, or the best way to learn is to learn by yourself. That's me. There's no shame in getting lessons to help your craft get better. But
Thank you, internet though.
thank you.
I had a lot of. I am self-taught, but I had a lot of YouTube teachers. So all of those that aren't.
I would just pop on. I would pop on a Who CD or a Rush CD and just try and figure that shit out.
Yeah, it's easier for me at least, to learn by myself because it seemed like, I think I've only taken like 2 or 3 lessons, and it was very difficult because older people who have been playing drums for a while are really set in their ways on how they want you to do it, and like
Exactly.
you got to do
the
whatever's
technical
comfortable.
way.
Yeah, you've got to learn what's comfortable for you, and like I don't know,
So
it felt degrading.
it really
having
does.
a
Like,
tutor. Like I don't know.
I had a guy teach me how to play 4 chords, and then because I wanted to noodle around, he would just make me strum for 30 seconds. And then I said,
30
fuck this.
seconds?
I told my dad,
For 30 seconds.
for 30 seconds, strum, strum, strum.
For 30 seconds.
For 30 seconds.
How hard is that?
Weird.
For a kid who can't sit the fuck still, it's pretty difficult.
For 30 seconds?
Yeah, there was a clock on the wall, and I would watch that thing move. He only ever was able to teach me 4
Do you
chords.
realize how fast 30 seconds goes?
To a kid who just wants to play on a guitar and not know
Think
what
of
he's
his
doing.
attention span and think of the fact he was like 12.
No, I
or
understand if it was
9.
like 30
Yeah, it
minutes,
was
but 30 fucking seconds?
30 seconds,
You
dude.
couldn't strum for 30 seconds.
No, and I did, but like, it just... Those 4 chords was all I needed. I went to my dad, I'm like, stop wasting your money, I'll learn it myself.
You see,
And here we are today.
30 seconds later.
30 seconds later.
That was just with the guitar. I haven't picked up a guitar in forever. I love the guitar, though.
I had like maybe 5 lessons from that guy, like fucking 5 when you
That's all you really
graduated
need.
in high school.
You just need 4 chords. That's all you need.
Yeah, I'm a clarinetist and a saxophonist.
Oh,
Baritone.
cool.
That's
Awesome.
what I play.
Baritone tuba.
So I
Trumpet.
did the
Did you play in a ska band?
no. I actually played in a folk punk band. You can
Yes!
We're called Humbug. And then I became like the residential saxophonist and got picked up by all these other people around here.
Do you have any CDs from the folk punk band?
Yes, it's on Bandcamp.
Yes!
How long
Thank
ago
you,
was that?
Bandcamp.
Oh,
As long-
2014, right?
Oh, alright.
15?
cool.
15. 2015. Yes. There you go. Yes. But we've played as like different inceptions because when we recorded that, we had a stand-up bass, we had like a big marching band drum, a saw player,
Oh my
banjo,
God, so this was
guitar,
legit.
saxophone,
Jesus.
trumpet.
It was an event.
It was, and we threw this together as a rushed thing so that Days and Days could come play here.
Oh wow.
So that's
What?
what we did.
Oh, that's
We
great.
made up a band so that we could have a show.
That's
really
we
great.
recorded an album off of it. So you can
Brilliant.
Bandcamp Humbug 69.
Humbug 69?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Humbug 69.
Love it.
Cool.
But we're show 60 out of 100. So tomorrow, because I know we're at the top of the hour, people can catch you in Milwaukee at Quarters.
Yes.
And then what happens after that? I know on the 25th, you're in, where is it?
Sheboygan.
Sheboygan.
And the
Sheboygan.
26th.
With Noah
we're-
Green.
So we're playing. We love Wisconsin. We really do. So
The
we're
cheese,
playing.
the beer,
Yeah, the
everything.
cheese, the
It's all
beer,
brilliant.
the everything. Like
Love it.
honestly, like it's like we don't like the snow. That's why
The
we
women,
come.
the
we come after
bakeries,
the
they're
snow.
all in one.
Yeah.
Top sandwich. Sorry, I'm a bad
We also
human.
found out that the
You're a good human.
warheads.
Don't you
Yeah,
love
we found out
yourself?
warheads are made here and
Yeah,
jelly
the factory.
beans.
Yes, Jelly
So
Belly.
we're gonna try to
Everything
go
is
to a
great.
tour of those factories.
Wisconsin
You
is
can
one of
do a
the
free
best.
tour at Jelly Belly.
Sweet.
You could do that tomorrow.
Do you know about the warheads though? That's what I was more like.
I don't know about Warheads. I
Yes.
know that there's Nestle here, and that's in Burlington.
Can
And
you do
they've
a
got-
tour of that place?
I think so.
I mean,
Can you
we've
do, like-
toured Pabst twice, Miller twice, or
I love Pabst.
But
No,
where are
I
you
think we
going
did
on tour?
All right. Well, whatever.
yeah.
So anyhow, we love
We are on
Wisconsin.
tour,
So like
yeah,
we're
I forgot.
playing Quarters tomorrow, which is Wednesday the 24th, right? Yeah. So we're playing there on the.
it's you using your.
Yeah, I know, right? And then we're playing Sabbatic on Sunday, May 26th, and then we're also playing Sheboygan. We're playing a public park. You can find it. It's going to be called the Punk Rock Brat Fry.
Is it
It's
the
gonna be
same
music
thing?
all day.
I didn't
place?
know that was a park. No, I didn't say that.
It's
That's
like
cool.
a public park. If you want to, you should cover it
Cool.
if you're available.
You
on
should
that.
go.
It's a Saturday,
It is a
so
Saturday.
you could host it if you want.
Shh, people don't want us to host shit.
If
They
you
stare
want
at
to.
We
us.
want you to host shit.
I helped make it happen because it's funny. Last time we played Sheboygan, I was talking to the dude and he was just like, "I want to run like a big show and maybe make it like a brat fry."
Was
And
it
I'm like,
squid?
being from Squid.
Oh
So like being
God, from Dorothy's Words.
from Dorothy's Words.
Yes.
So being from New Jersey, we call them barbecues, but like the brat fry thing, I was like, punk rock brat fry. This needs to happen.
I call it
And
a
then-
barbecue.
And then everybody down south calls it something different. Because barbecue down south is barbecue.
Yeah.
Like
barbecue
pulled
is
pork,
an item. It's
like
a
some
noun.
brisket, like some
Otherwise
good
you're-
shit.
Cooking out. Or
Yeah, I think they have a
cooking
cookout and then they serve barbecue.
Yeah.
It's a noun.
out.
But all right, so yeah, so that would be that. But after we play today, we are, like I said, we're playing Quarters, and then we're going to Iowa for the first time. So we're playing
Whoop,
Iowa.
whoop.
Where are you playing in
We're
Iowa?
playing Des Moines on Friday, and then we're
Lefties?
playing we're playing the Fremont, or
Okay.
no, we're playing Hulls or the Hull because our show got combined with Escape from the Zoo. With Jesse from Days and Days.
That's cool.
So that's really cool.
We're
So
excited.
We're
That's
opening
really
for
cool.
Escape from the Zoo. And
That's cool.
then we're also playing Nebraska. We're playing the Lookout Lounge. Excited for that. We're going to a lot of places we haven't been. So Iowa, Nebraska. We're going to the Pacific Northwest. We're doing Seattle. We're doing Oregon, like Portland.
Awesome.
Medford.
Can't wait to do the Pacific Northwest.
I know.
It's so beautiful.
I have never been, but we have friends who have moved out there. Actually, the guitar player from the fucking folk punk band lives out there now. And I'm like, oh, I want to come see you. And he's like, you should just like come, but you gotta bring your saxophone. Every time he sees me, he's like, where's your saxophone? I'm like, I don't carry that shit with me. He's like, what?
All times. Just have to
That's
have.
what he said.
It's your
Everybody keeps
action
telling
figure
me that.
accessory. You need to have your
Bass in my
saxophone.
trunk.
So, is it like bah humbug?
No,
Like, is
it's
that-
humbug.
Yeah, but I mean, like, did you do it like play it
No,
off of that?
no,
or-
like so
There's
the
a
banjo
candy.
player
There's a candy
is
called
an ornithologist. He studies birds, and he was just like humbug because we're like little bugs in the field humming along.
humbug.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
I
That's the
love
thing.
that.
That is interesting.
You have merch for sale too. Let's touch on
Ooh.
that. Where can people find you online, and what merch do you have available for purchase?
We don't have a web store yet, so come to one of our shows, please.
Yes.
It's the only way you'll be able to find it.
You can get one of everything for like $25.
But what if they go on Facebook and they hit the message button and they're like, "Hey, Houston and the Dirty Rats, I want a really awesome pink koozie."
If they want something, I mean, they could message us, and if we're
Yeah.
passing through your town, we could
Hey,
drop
Houston
something.
and the Dirty Rats, I want a pink koozie. Did you get that
Give me
message?
some shit.
I just got
I just got that.
You did?
Yeah.
So you got koozies. I know that. You have buttons.
Oh, so we have koozies, we have buttons, we have kazoos, we have
bottle openers.
cassettes, we have we have hats, we have
Vinyls,
sweatshirts, we have vinyl,
shirts.
flexi. I think
We
I said t-shirts.
sweatshirts.
Ooh.
We have everything.
We have literally everything you'd find at a stadium tour.
Yeah. we
Wow.
have
Like
everything,
if Kiss sold it, we have it.
pretty much. We don't have shot glasses.
We
they're,
don't have
they're breakable.
frisbees yet.
Right.
Not yet.
We don't have what?
Frisbees?
Frisbees and
We don't have frisbees yet. We'll have frisbees in the future. We're
That's
trying to
cool.
have them for Milwaukee Punk Fest. Hopefully.
Well,
We
I
got
can't wait.
patches.
We got patches. Yeah, we got patches.
I'm trying to remember the merch.
We
thing.
have a couple new shirts.
Stickers.
Yeah, we have a shirt that says like our mottos that we're fun and we don't suck, but we crossed out the don'ts. Now
No, 'cause we
says
suck
it
ass.
says we're fun and they're fun and they suck. So
I like it.
that's a new thing.
I think I'd rather.
We have
be one
some
than the
tour
other.
shirts while supplies lasts. So
Ooh.
come out to our shows. We have small through large left.
We're running
Yeah,
out.
we're running out every show. So
That's
Also, these ones will be rare because they're misprints.
yeah, they are some misprints. There's some shows that got moved around and stuff. And eventually, when we have a web store, because some people didn't have money or wanted a shirt and we didn't have their size along
We'll
this
have it
tour,
all fixed up.
we'll
for you.
have a shirt with every show we play on this 100 shows tour eventually on a web store.
Awesome.
But I'd say buy what we have now because I don't know, we'll have a web store next year.
They don't even have it.
Something. We got to figure that
We
out.
don't even have.
Right now, we
shirts.
just wanted to play 100 shows and we're trying to do Europe in the fall. So like we're just trying to figure that
Wow.
out.
We
So,
don't
like,
stop.
Yeah, we don't stop.
Europe, where in Europe?
Germany.
Germany and
We
the
wanna do Germany.
Netherlands.
Yeah,
Oh my
Germany and
God.
the Netherlands.
That's awesome.
Can't stop,
Yeah.
won't stop.
Well, we have a few people we know over there now who book in
Oh.
Italy and France and stuff. So,
Cool.
hey.
Gotta brush up on my French.
Yeah, right? Je sais pas. Anyways, we're at the top of the hour.
Je suis toilette.
You can't ask that question over there, right? So, Houston and the Dirty Rats, they can find you, I know, on Facebook and YouTube
Bandcamp.
and Instagram
And Bandcamp.
and Bandcamp. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it right
Yeah.
now. We'll be on Spotify soon. We're really trying
Like,
to crack
you're
it.
gonna do it yourself? You're not gonna go through a distributor,
Yeah,
right?
well, there's
DIY or die.
we do what's it called? There's DistroKid, which is DIY.
Oh, no, it's not DIY. And you lose your rights and you lose your royalties. And if you want more, we can talk.
Okay, we'll
But
talk later.
I
We've never used it, so
Distributors are the bane of my existence, and if you are going to use one, first off, ask people like us, because there's tons of us throughout the U.S. that will help you. A, B, SoundCloud. Motherfuckers, SoundCloud
That
is
was for
free.
rappers.
yeah.
It's not! We're on SoundCloud. All of our interviews are a podcast, and you can post yourself as a band on all of the major platforms. Does it take time? Yes. But do you get to keep all of your rights and royalties? Most definitely. People go to, because I've done it myself, how do I distribute my music? And the big corporations pop up. If you're trying to do this thing as a DIY and a punk and a fuck
Yeah.
you to corporate America, start saying fuck you. No pay to plays and no
We
distribution.
no
never
pay to
do
play.
that.
Record Union is the only distributor so far that allows you, because they're just like an LLC, to maintain your publishing rights, meaning
Okay,
that
yeah,
you
yeah.
could take it from them and still publish it anywhere else.
Yeah.
So, I will step off my soapbox.
So maybe it's good we haven't.
I'm glad you went on your
Don't
Yeah, no,
do
we
it!
We haven't done it yet. We've
Because
never.
you
We haven't.
pay-
We're not on any
You
streaming
pay
sites
a
yet.
fee, and even though people are like, it's only like $50 a month, that's
$50 a month.
That's
Like
a
$50
lot.
a year, but anyhow, yeah.
or $20 a month, depending on what you want.
Really? Okay.
Depends. It
Okay.
depends on what service you want, because there are different services. But all of them, regardless if it's $5 to $50, it doesn't fucking matter. You lose your right, because you can still make that music. But if you ever said, or they dropped your, album and they were deciding to discontinue it from, Spotify, iTunes, etc., you can't post it anywhere because they own it. And I can prove this because every single fucking time we play something from something that someone has sent, that was a lot of somethings, it pops up and says, oops, copyright on YouTube. CD Baby, DistroKid owns the rights to this music. Fuck you, you don't own it. You can't publish it anywhere else because you've told someone else, please do this for me. It's like paying a prostitute to give you head. You can't touch her hair, and she just has to finish the job. So,
Nice.
that's a wonderful analogy.
I'm
Anyway.
so glad our show fell through tonight, and we ended up meeting you and seeing you, Jess.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you, and we can help you guys along the way
Awesome.
if you have questions
Totally
after
stoked,
you
yeah.
hear this evening.
So where's the prostitute?
Because we did everything.
I don't know. You gotta ask Pete down the street. I'm sure he's a collector of fine items of that as well.
Probably.
We
Love you, Pete.
because we did everything DIY for this tour. Honestly, that's why we're trying to apply for a world record.
Good.
Because there have been bands that have done massive tours that were consecutive in the past, but they never did it on their own. They had record labels and booking agents and airplanes and hotel room and tour buses and veggie platters and we're just three guys in a van.
Yeah.
You know,
They
like,
did pull up in a van, indeed. We're gonna even feed them. But
thank you so much, Jess.
check them out tomorrow night in Milwaukee. It's a midday.
It's a free show. Come see us.
Midweek show. There you go. Quarters. Is it just you guys?
I think so.
So
I mean, Josh might do something acoustic.
I'm
I don't
sure.
know.
Houston and the Dirty Rats, you can check them out on Facebook, Bandcamp, Instagram, YouTube, and again, they're coming to your town, so if you go to their Facebook page, their cover photo is all of the shows, and if you want more information, just shoot them a message, and you can find them here, and Thursday we will be on with For It All from Chicago. Okay, thanks, bye!